Realist Gang, I'm back with another video. In today's video, I have another word for y'all. And today's word is, if the fakes, if the counterfeits, if the phonies are coming right now, what makes you think that the new is not coming? What makes you think that the real thing is not right behind? You get what I'm saying? Right now, God is testing us. He is testing our patience, our faith, everything. And God was speaking to me about the importance of the isolation season. God definitely showed me the importance of the isolation season and things of that nature. And he also wanted me to come over here and be vulnerable. The way that I got this word was through a counterfeit, somebody who wanted to be in a relationship with me. You get what I'm saying? So basically what had happened is that I posted a face picture of me on my Instagram. So then somebody slides up and we just start texting back and forth, and it wasn't nothing too like that, but he wanted to take me out on a date. So I was like, okay, bet, but for the time being we weren't really texting and all of that. But when we came in person, that's when we were like, oh wow, this is different. But I was telling him about God and just telling him my transformations and my testimonies with God and all of that. And this person was actually listening, but I knew that this is not the person for me. You get what I'm saying? So I decided to have a talk with this person, and he actually respected it. He respected that, I was trying to grow my relationship with God and things of that nature. And that was great that he respected that, right? But at first he was hesitant. He didn't understand. Something hit me also. And it's just so much revelation that God is just revealing to me as well. So y'all keep up with me. You get what I'm saying? He was hesitant and he was like, you seem like a nice girl, this, that, and the third. But it's like God showed me what's going to happen if I get myself into this relationship. And it's not the first time, because I was in a worldly relationship and I was just full of anxieties of I just felt conflicted. You get what I'm saying? So I knew that I was like, no, let's not do this again, Brenda. Let's not do this again. I had to shake myself no. But this time around, the devil did send somebody who was really, really my type, because for the past months, he's been sending I want to say people who are not my type, but yeah, who are not my type. And this time this person was physically attractive. I found this person physically attractive and all of that. So I was like, dang. I was like, you got me with this one. You got me with this one. But that song is the devil thought he had me, but Jesus said you're mine. That's what I was saying. I was like, yeah, no. So I had to rebuke that. I had to rebuke that person. Had to tell him, I'm trying to follow God, trying to do this, that, and the third. And I was like, hopefully you could gain a relationship with God. He didn't really understand, because it's deeper than me saying, oh, God this, oh, God that. You get what I'm saying? But he was like, oh, I pray to God too. Even sometimes in my head, I'd be like, and then when I'm done, I'd be like, I was like, what? That's not even praying. So that's one of the red flags. This person was not spiritually in tune with himself. In the God way, not in no new age or none of that. I'm talking about the Christian way. That's one of the ways that God was like, what makes you think that the new or the real thing is not coming? And then there's 2 fake job interviews where people are just calling me oh, I have this job for you. And then, I go and search it up, and the company is not even real. And they asking me for my information, my ID, and things of that nature to get started. And, I had to use that wisdom. I'm praying to God, because that's what I need. Something real, you get what I'm saying? Even though he has been making a way for me, you get what I'm saying? But I, wanted a job. And I know why God is telling me not to get a 9 to 5 right now, to focus on my channel and, my studies, because, I'm going to get somewhere. So he told me that, and I understand it, and that's why, I'm trying to get something virtual. So within these jobs, these people are calling me, and they're like, oh, blah, 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 you want to get started. They're like interviewing me. Why are you good for this job? And at first I was like, okay, this sounds legit. Like the people sound legit. But then I was like, I searched it up and the companies weren't even real. I say that to say this. It sounds legit. It looks legit, right? But it's not legit. It's a counterfeit. And God was telling me, he was like, if the counterfeits are coming, what makes you think that the real thing is not right behind? So he was like, if the counterfeits are coming, job-wise, relationship-wise, friend-wise, whatever-wise, what makes you think that the real thing, the real deal is not right behind? You get what I'm saying? The devil, he's just really scared. He knows his time. He knows that the children of God are rising. You get what I'm saying? The children of God are rising. And right now he's in panic mode. He's in panic mode trying to get us out of out of the righteous path. So he's going to do that because he knows that, the things that were prophesied in the Bible are coming to fruition. He knows that. So what is he doing? He's gathering things and people that work in his kingdom, whether they know it or not, they still doing it. He's gathering those things, and he's like, you know what? I'm going to use this to take her off her path. I'm going to use this to take him off his path, whether it's lust, whether it's drugs, whether it's whatever. You get what I'm saying? He's going to use all of that in order to make you stay in a stagnant or in a stance place with whatever. Because, something that God has been revealing to me is the spirit of delay. And a lot of our families have that spirit of delay. That spirit is so strong that, God has sent someone in your family, which might be you, or, if you're watching this, it might be you, to break that curse, because nobody within that lineage has been able to succeed or progress or things of that nature, because maybe they were trying to, come up or do the things that God told them to do. But in the midst of it, they just, probably got tired of it, probably wanted a different way out, probably wanted a faster way out, and they just didn't succeed. We know the devices of the enemy and things of that nature. And basically, the spiritual warfare is hitting. You get what I'm saying? So he's going to send anything and everything towards your way. He's going to send a lot of counterfeit things to throw you off your path. And we got to understand, this is deeper than us. In the Bible, it says that the spiritual battle is not against flesh and blood. It is against spiritual principalities and darkness that rules on the earth. You get what I'm saying? It is actually against God and the devil, because what happened in the beginning is that the devil wanted to become God. So it's really between God and the devil. But since we're created in his image, in God's image, the devil attacks us. And it's crazy because he attacks us, but he uses the people who are vulnerable, who don't really know, who are also made in God's image, and it's really a joke to him. You get what I'm saying? It's really like, oh, I got this person, and you're supposed to be God's image or whatever, and he's happy that he has something to prove or to laugh at God about. You get what I'm saying? To laugh at God. So yeah, it's definitely deeper than us. And since we're here, we have to battle this battle as well. You get what I'm saying? So he's gonna send things our way that seem pleasing to the flesh, that seem pleasing to our mind and things of that nature, that we will want to be like, oh, this won't do that much. As I was saying, that little bit of fun won't hurt, but then it becomes a whole sin that you're struggling with. That is what's happening, is that we're fighting. We're fighting, and the heat gets turned up more so every year. Every year you're seeing things getting worse more than it will get better. You get what I'm saying? So this is more so a word of encouragement, is that God is saying, if these counterfeit things are coming, if the devil is throwing these things your way, what makes you think that the real deal is not, what I'm saying? The real deal is not just in back of those counterfeits. The counterfeit is showing up first, but what if the real deal is on its way, but the counterfeit pops up because that's of the devil. He's scared of what you could bring to the table. He's scared of what God has put in you. He's scared of the gifts that God has given you, because it's just like too powerful. You got to understand that the spiritual is more powerful than the physical, and that's where the enemy gets us like all twisted up. But that's for another video. If that's happening, if the devil is attacking you consistently and all of that, is just to say that the new is coming in. The new is arriving. Yes, it might not be next month, but it's coming. It's coming. The more you focus on God, it says that seek first the kingdom and everything shall be added. So if you're focusing on something else, you're not going to focus on God. So then God is seeing that, and he's like, nah, I can't, you got to focus on me, not focus on this thing. You get what I'm saying? So focus on God and serving him and your purpose for him instead of focusing on that. Also, you have to know when the enemy is sending the things and all of that towards your way to get you startled or to get you like out of your path. You gotta have discernment. You get what I'm saying? You gotta have discernment to know these things, because it's really crucial, especially at this time. It's really crucial because of the fact that God is doing something in his kingdom, and like I said, it's almost time. We don't know the time, but the signals, the signs are here. We're clearly seeing it, clear as day. You get what I'm saying? So it's not to say to be in fear or none of that. God doesn't want you to fear nothing, nobody but him, right? So basically, God is saying, look at how slick the enemy thinks he is. It's the same slithery snake that convinced Eve to eat the apple of the forbidden tree. You get what I'm saying? So he does the same thing to us. He talks in our ear, tells us, no, this person is good for you. Whatever you're speaking to God about is not the truth. He confuses you. He tries to manipulate you into thinking like what you spoke with God about is not what's going to go on. You get what I'm saying? So he wants you to take control of your own life so you can forfeit what it is that God wants for you. And God says that do not lean on your own understanding, because if you lean on your own understanding, you're doing a disservice to yourself. You're really not operating in wisdom. You're really not operating in knowledge. And like I'm saying, that's gonna further you down to be on the same level that, you know, these worldly people are on. And it's not to say that you're better or you're perfect or this or that. It's just to say that you're on a different level. And I'm sorry if that sounds cocky or whatever, but I have to come here with the truth and, you know, the truth and love and all of that. I'm not trying to gas nobody up or any of that. It's just the truth. So God wants you to focus. He wants you to stop being distracted by what the enemy is bringing. Because for me, like I was saying about that that date I had with this boy, this worldly boy, he didn't really know too much about God. You know, he was really on the surface with it. He was like just saying things that didn't align with God, the man that God wants me to be with. You get what I'm saying? And I'm just like, analyzing it. And, you know, God is speaking to me at the same time in my head. And he's like, notice this, notice that, notice this, notice that. And I'm noticing it because of my previous worldly relationship. I was like catching on. I'm like, like it sounded promising. It sounded so promising. You know, he's like, oh, you know, I grew up in the church, this, that, and the third. Just trying to convince me that, you know, he's a godly man. But, you know, at the same time, he smokes and all of that. And I'm not going to go into personal details. But what I'm saying is, you know, look at the actions and look at the words. Ooh. Lord Jesus. Ooh. Look at the actions and look at the words of a counterfeit, of a person. Because then that balance is going to tell you, nah, this person is not serious. And even just listen to the person. Just listen to the person. And they'll always tell on themselves. Especially, and that's the funny thing, especially if they're sent by the enemy. It's crazy. It's crazy. So it's always looking so promising. Like I said on the phone interview as well, for the fake jobs, the scamming jobs. It seems so promising because the lady sounded legit. You know, she had a professional voice. She's like interviewing me and telling me this, that, and the third. And I'm just like, huh. But then I go and search the company and the company doesn't even exist. I'm just like, wow. And then God spoke to me. He was like, if all of these counterfeit things are coming, right? And they've all been coming last month. Since this month started, I'm going to say last month. I'm not even going to be like this month. But it really has all like been clashing in together. Especially, you know, now that I'm walking seriously with God again and things of that nature. It's clashing in together. It's like the enemy is so scared. He's sending this, that, throwing this, throwing that. Because he's in panic mode right now. He's scared. Because he knows that the children of God have so many powerful gifts. Right? And the gifts that we have is just so strong. Because God is operating in us. Nothing else but God is operating in us. And God is just so powerful in every way that is unexplainable. And this is why he is in panic mode. He's trying to get you off your path. If you're trying to do TikTok through serving the Lord from that, or YouTube or whatever, he's like throwing darts in your brain, you know, confusing your brain, confusing your mind, confusing your thoughts, sending, you know, this is what he knows to do. Send the same thing. It's a cycle for me because I'm going to be vulnerable with you guys. You know, Relationships was my greatest weakness. Because growing up, what did I say here? I wrote it down. It was for my class, one of my classes, but over here it says, I grew up knowing some things but not a lot due to the lack of guidance. Therefore, I felt like I was always searching for something through people and other things to substitute the unavailability of that. And that was for like my writing, you know, because I'm studying psychology. That was literally for a class, I kid you not. But yeah, that was an assignment. But yeah, you know, that was one of my great weaknesses. And I'm just learning that it's so much purpose than just a relationship. You get what I'm saying? It's so much purpose than just being that person that wants to be loved or things of that nature, of being desperate. You get what I'm saying? And I realized that, and I'm just like, wow, you know, because I used to do a lot of things for people who didn't want to treat me right just because I wanted that validation, I wanted that love. But God is teaching me how to validate myself, how to love myself in order to not, you get what I'm saying? It's just a process of things. And, you know, the enemy doesn't do anything different. And like I'm saying, it was a cycle for me because I was always trying to figure out things in a relationship, trying to be in a relationship with, you know, people who didn't reciprocate in that sense. You get what I'm saying? So he keeps sending the same cycle for me. And it's like God is testing me. God is testing you to see if you're eligible to go into the next season. If you're eligible to get the promises that he has promised you. Because one thing about it is that God is not a liar. The thing is that if you keep on repeating the same cycle and you don't learn, God is gonna keep you. He's not gonna give you what you really deserve because you haven't learned. And that's what I'm learning in this isolation season, y'all. The isolation season is really needed because there's so many distractions out there. And it's so easy to get distracted. I'm not going to lie. It's so easy to get distracted. Especially when you're in the isolation season. Especially when you just want to go out and have fun, you know, because you haven't gone out in a minute. Because you've been doing the same routine for a minute. You get what I'm saying? So yes, it can be tempting. You know, it can look good to the human eye. These things that the enemy sends, he's not a fool. He knows what you have liked in your past or have liked. And it's tempting. It really is. But we have to pray for strength. We have to be fully covered in our armor. Because just as hard as the enemy is going, we have to go as hard as well. And even though, you know, we don't want to be like, oh, you know, this, that, we have to. We have to. So it's nothing new under the sun with the enemy. Like I'm saying, if you keep repeating the same cycles, guess what? The same thing is going to happen into your life. And that's where I wanted to go, is that spirit of delay that is so heavy upon us. That spirit of delay is something that we need to rebuke. Because if you look in your family line, not a lot of people have have probably married but haven't lasted. So either no marriage or not a fruitful marriage. And then we have some people who haven't graduated and things of that nature. Then we have the people who are set in their victim mentality. And I'm sorry for that sound in the background. It's just the people are mowing the lawn, so yeah. So there's that victim mentality. Then there's that spirit of poverty. And all of this has something in common, which is the spirit of delay. This is something that we have to pray and fast against, because that spirit is heavy upon a lot of our generations, upon a lot of our family. And I'm seeing it firsthand with not only my generation, but the past generation. And I'm seeing how I have so much similarities to the past generation from my mom's generation. Her brothers, her siblings, to how it is similar with me and my siblings. But I'm not going to go deep into that. That's for another video. That's for like a testimony video or whatever the case might be. But yeah. So that's one thing. The spirit of delay is so heavy upon us, y'all, that we have to really fight. We have to fight. It's like no other choice but to fight, especially if we want to give a better life to the next generation, so they don't experience what we have experienced. This is why we're in isolation season. He is preparing us. He is preparing us. And I wanna say this, right? God is preparing us so much that I recognize something. My dog. God brought this dog into my life because, I wouldn't say I was lazy, but I was lazy, So I would wake up like at 11, 12 every day and just kind of like be productive, but not really. You get what I'm saying? But with my dog, I had to change my schedule. You get what I'm saying? Like, I had to wake up earlier. I had to learn how to clean his poop, his pee, train him, all of that. A dog is not a human being, right? I wouldn't say it's exactly like having a baby, but it kind of is like having a baby. You have to be very responsible, very observant, and things of that nature. So I noticed what God was doing when he brought this dog to my attention. He's preparing me for motherhood and things of that nature. Even though, like I said, I'm not saying that a dog is a human being or a baby or any of that. I'm just saying it's kind of similar. So with that being said, you have to stay in your isolation season. Don't stay stagnant in your isolation season. Don't just be like, oh, I want to do this or I want to do that because of this, because I'm bored, because I want to feel something or this, that, and the third. While you're in your isolation season, seek the kingdom first and trust me. In due time, everything will be added. Because see, everything is a part of the test. Everything is a part of the test. This isolation season is a part of your test. It's like when you're in school, you're just gathering information of like, let's go with high school, right? You're gathering information about these 5 classes, right? Science, math, language arts, history, and the list goes on, right? You're gathering information about all of these subjects, and you have to study each and every one of them often and understand it, grasp the information, pass the little tests that they have and homeworks and all of that, so then you could pass the final test from all of those classes. Oh, Lord Jesus. That is deep, y'all, right? So you're studying all of these classes, and then you have the final semester test to see what you have gathered, the information you have gathered from this class, from that class, from this class, from that class, from this class. And you see if you pass each class. But it's a blessing. It's a blessing if you pass all of the classes all together so you can move on to the next grade. Right? So you don't have to go to summer school, or you don't have to waste time, and you get what I'm saying, just all together. And that's basically what God is saying. He has you in the isolation season for right now. Wow. That's so deep, y'all. I didn't see it like that. It just came to it really just came to my head right now. But the studying the armor, you have the breastplate of righteousness, you get what I'm saying, all of that to protect you, to give you wisdom, to help you understand, to help you gain knowledge when you're learning all of these things. You're going through things. The things that you go through, the knowledge that you receive, the wisdom that you receive is a part of the test, the patience that you receive, the compassion, the forgiveness that you receive is all a test. And God is going to test you. He is. He says you need to test the spirits. You get what I'm saying? Even he says it. Don't be gullible. You have to test the spirits. And that's what he does. He tests us to see, are we prepared? Are we ready to move on to the next season? Just like I'm talking about school moving to the next grade, it's like us continuing to the next season. Moving up, moving up, moving up. So this is why we cannot be distracted by what arrows the enemy throws. We have to be discerning. We have to be understanding. We have to be full of wisdom and knowledge. And that's part of being in the Word. That's part of watching these sermons. That's part of all of this is a part of the test. So don't be discouraged, y'all. Keep going. And I know everyone is like, oh, keep going, this, that, and the third. I know you're tired, blah, blah, blah. But y'all, if you know, the season of isolation is really needed. It's really needed. And I just recognized that when I went to Honduras. But yeah, y'all, that's really all I have for today. Y'all read your word, study, and always go to God, because us prophets, we're just here with another word, and whatever the case may be. And like I always say, stay real, be real, because once you are the realest, you cannot go back to the lies. So I'ma catch y'all until next time.